Hello everybody. This is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. I hope that you are having a wonderful day today. We are going to make a beautiful centerpiece. It's going to be long and low, and it's actually for a 12-seater table. So it's really a very big table, okay? And so what we are going to do is we are going to take a 2-block container. This is actually just a dish, just a tray that we purchased from our wholesaler, and it holds 2 blocks of fresh floral foam. I've taken those 2 blocks and I have soaked them, and then I taped them into place just using a little waterproof tape. I taped them in two places on each block just to make sure that nothing falls out. They're held in place very well. Next, what we're going to do is start with a little bit of greenery. Now the greenery I have chosen is, we're going to start with some leather leaf. I'm going to take my floral knife, I'm going to cut the band on that leather leaf, and then I'm going to take each individual piece and I'm going to break it into smaller pieces. I don't need it quite that large, so I'm going to take it and break it into smaller pieces and just press it right in to that floral foam. And leather leaf's a little messy. You'll find working with it, it's a little messy. Often it has spores, so the spores will leave all of that lovely little residue on your hands. But I'm just taking that leather and breaking it into just smaller pieces and pressing that right into that floral foam. And I'm going to go all the way around in this arrangement. I'm just going to break it apart. And you can absolutely use a knife for this, but it really pops off pretty easily. So I often will just use my fingernails to break it into smaller pieces. Now this is called lemon leaf salal. And salal it also often comes in the stems or the tips. I think that these are more of the tips. So I'm just going to take it using my floral knife. I'm going to cut that stem off of it, and we're just going to tuck it in. Now it usually has like lateral pieces that are off growths, you know, more stems, more leaves. And so you just take it and cut it apart. So see how that has 2 different sets of leaves on it? Just cut that apart and tuck that in. My hands are wet, and so sometimes it's hard to grip that stem if it is tough to cut with my knife. All right. Okay, so there's our greenery, and you can see this is a pretty long arrangement. It's coming, you know, about 3 feet or so. Next, what we're going to do is add our hydrangeas. I am going to grab some beautiful white hydrangeas. I think I'm going to use about 4 stems of white hydrangeas. Now we always leave the plastic on our stems when we put them in our cooler. It just protects them in the cooler. I'm going to take and kind of fluff that stem up a little bit using my floral knife. I'm going to cut that stem at an angle, and I am going to dip it into some Quick Dip. Now Quick Dip is a hydrating solution that helps to keep the flower hydrated. I'm going to take that and press it right into my floral foam. There. Take my next stem, pull off most of those leaves, fluff it just a little bit. All right, so I have put my hydrangeas into place. So I have 4 white hydrangeas. Next, we will come in with some purple stock. So I have some really pretty purple stock. I'm going to use my Quick Dip for these flowers also. So I'm going to take that stock, cut that stem, dip it in Quick Dip. Again, what happens with this quick dip is it just helps to keep these wilt prone flowers more hydrated. And so that's the reason I'm choosing to use some quick dip. All right, there's our pretty purple stalk. Next, we will come in with some mums. So we've got some chrysanthemums. These are called disc buds, and they really remind me a lot of dahlias. So pretty, just a large petal count, just really pretty. I love a chrysanthemum because it's so long lasting, and it comes in so many beautiful varieties and different colors, all the colors in the rainbow just about, and beautiful varieties that remind you so much of those high-end dahlias. All right, so there are our chrysanthemums tucked in. Next, we will come in with some purple carnations. So these carnations are called Hypnosis, and they're kind of a purpley lavender color, but they have kind of a splash of pink, which to me is so pretty. So I'm going to take those stems, and you saw me kind of fluff it. So what I'm doing is, you can see how this one's kind of crushed. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to hold it in my hand carefully, and then I'm just going to fluff those petals and open those petals up using my floral knife. Cut that stem at an angle and nestle that right down into that floral foam. Now, you can fluff carnations, but don't fluff any other flowers. Don't do this with another type of flower because you will bruise their petals. But carnations are very easy to fluff and to open up. But you don't want to do this with a rose or a lily, only a carnation. Okay, so there's our carnations all the way through. Next, we will come in with some beautiful roses. I am not exactly sure the name of this rose, but when you think of the smell of a rose, this rose is exactly that fragrance. It smells just like rose perfume. So I took and blew those petals open, and I'm going to nestle them pretty deep down into this arrangement. Pull off any of the petals that don't look good. Just blow those petals kind of open. This is for a dinner party. So it's nice to have those roses kind of open and pretty, showing all their glory. See how pretty that is? Now, another way to open these roses is flipping them over and just rolling them in your hands. Look at how much that opened. Okay, next I'm going to come in with some purple roses. Our pretty lavender colored roses. Just really pretty, aren't they? I'm going to take those. These are a tighter rose. So I'm not going to try to manipulate them too much. Remove any of those guard petals. Open it just a little bit. Remove the guard petals. Now you see I am not wiring these roses. I'm cutting them off very short, so I'm not worried about wiring them. Just twist them in your hand and open up those petals a little bit. Don't be too aggressive with doing that because you'll break petals. So just kind of roll it after you've cut it off pretty short. Just kind of roll that stem back and forth in your hand to open up those petals. And if they don't want to open, don't force it. They're so pretty, aren't they? Hey Callie, what's this variety of purple rose? Moody Blue is the variety, and then that creamy rose that's right there that I just opened up. Moody Blue is the purple, which is so pretty, y'all. It's so pretty. Okay, so there are our roses.
White O'Hara.
White O'Hara is this creamy colored rose, which smells so beautiful. If you want a pretty fragrant rose, that White O'Hara is amazing. Okay, so I have hydrangeas, purple stock, those Hypnosis carnations, Moody Blue roses, which are the purple roses, and then the White O'Hara are the white roses, and then this is a disc bud, which is a chrysanthemum. To fill in, I'm going to come in with some daisies. I just have standard white daisies. So I'm going to take these flowers and I'm going to pop them off, leaving their stems as long as possible. And we're just going to nestle those down into the arrangement. So I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that little stem, and I'm just going to nestle these down into some of the areas where we just have greenery, and it's just going to help us fill in this arrangement. Just kind of tuck those here and there, just to kind of help fill in some of those voided areas that don't have any flowers in them. Again, I am just taking some of these longer stemmed daisies and popping them off. I don't really need a clump of daisies, so I'm not going to use the tops of these flowers. These can go down into other arrangements. I'm just going to use the smaller blooms, the blooms that were down the stem, that had a little bit of a longer stem. All right, to finish our arrangement, I am going to add just a couple of stems of white lilies. So we have this beautiful white oriental lily, not quite open. I am going to pull out the stamens that are in the lily. So if they decide to open up, they will not stain the lily. Always pull that pollen out. Anytime you can see it and you can get your hands on it, pull it out, because when it opens, it's going to stain the lily. Now this stem has 2 nice sized flowers and then lots of buds. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pull the flowers off the stem, just like I did the daisies. I'm going to cut that stem at an angle, and I'm going to tuck these lilies right down deep into this arrangement. And you can see how that's really going to fill up a lot of space. Be very careful with lilies because they will break easily. So don't try to manipulate them too much. These are called oriental lilies. They're large white oriental lilies. They are a very fragrant flower. So you want to be careful when using such fragrant flowers because they will overwhelm a room. So you don't want to use too many. I am removing some of the leaves, and I'm just going to take this whole stem and I'm just going to nestle it in. Into that floral foam. I have one more stem here. I am going to pull that bloom off. Go ahead and remove the pollen. Now, if the pollen has opened and has stained your white lilies, you can take a chenille stem or a pipe cleaner and clean out the inside of that lily just by rubbing it with that pipe cleaner. It will just clean that pollen right off that lily. I'm going to take my knife, cut that stem. press that lily right down into that floral foam. Now I'm going to cut these buds in half. I am actually going to use the same stem, taking my floral knife. I'm going to cut it in 2 different pieces, and that way I have 2 insertions. I can take one and tuck it in one place, and then take the other and tuck it in. And then it gives us 2 insertions of those buds. And there you have it, our long, low centerpiece for a dining room table. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, you can always ask. We would love to answer your questions. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a heart or a thumbs up. That just helps people to see us. Do me a great big favor. Hit that follow or subscribe to this channel. Hit that subscribe button right down below. If you'll hit that bell, it'll give you notifications for when we have a brand new video. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.